I purchased my 2001 MR2 Spider a couple of years ago to have a low-cost track car. That didn't go exactly according to plan, but the engine swap on the car is just the start. With the support of Advanced Auto Parts, the MR2 is going wheel-to-wheel racing. In this episode, we'll finally start making the MR2 look the part of a wide-body race car. And we're going to need to do it fast, because in less than 1 week, we're going to be racing head-to-head in Driving Line's Driver Battle series at Summit Raceway in West Virginia, a series where they pit similar cars and drivers in one-on-one battles around the racetrack to see who's faster. Our rival will be in a car with similar specs that Driving Line decides will be a good battle for us. I'm going to be working with and filming, mostly filming, Gears and Gasoline's official mechanic, Mark, and we are going to be thrashing desperately to try and get this car ready for Driving Line's driver battles, which are in less than a week. Hopefully all of the work that has been done to this point and all the work that we are going to do over the next couple of days will finally make the MR2 a little bit less terrifying to drive. Mark, what do you think that we should start with out of the laundry list of things that we have to do on this car?
I mean, when you start any project, you need to write out a list. Go ahead and lift up the car, and we're going to start with brakes.
In the last episode, Mark with a C from Frankenstein Motorworks installed a full set of Wilwood brakes on the MR2 to help it slow down on track. But he's a one-man team and wasn't able to bleed the brakes effectively. So now, Mark with a K and myself are going to make sure that the car can actually stop. Okay, pump for me.
All right. Holding.
Okay, pump again.
Holding. Floor. I feel like I started to feel some pressure. Holding. Floor.
So the brakes are bled, and now we are kind of in a space where we don't have all of the information that we need. In order to figure out what wheel and tire setup is fitting, I've ordered some wheels and tires. The wheels are here, the tires we're still waiting on, so we need to kind of guess at what is going to fit, what we need to do in order to make everything fit. But what we do know is that the setup we have right now is probably going to need some tweaking. We are probably going to have to run some spacers on the wheels, and if we're going to run spacers, we're going to need longer studs.
Oh, that's just not going to happen on this side. It's going to have to you'll have to come in from this side.
Ah.
Yeah. Oh, I like it, mainly because I don't have to do more work.
As we switched to the rear hubs, we thought we might have an issue. The rear hubs on the MR2 are press-in, and many manufacturers will require you to remove the rear hub to change out the wheel studs.
Luckily, Toyota put this little indention on the back side of the knuckle, and it allowed us to get the old studs out, but then press in the new extended studs. So thank you, Toyota, because you just saved me a ton of work. like a glove. Now we're gonna do the engine oil. We're gonna change the oil out. I dropped it. So this is gonna be the first oil change on the engine and transmission that we've done since the install of this engine.
Flux, it's always there.
We are using Valvoline VR1 10W30 viscosity, a motorsports-oriented oil with lots of zinc in it to keep the metal bits of my engine from touching each other. We've used it on the MR2, the Civic for 3 seasons, and the Evo for 3 seasons, and it's been an extremely reliable oil for the racetrack. Got a little sample of that so we can just get that scent off, and did the same thing with the transmission. We are going to top the transmission off with some more 75W90 from Valvoline. This is a GL5. We can have some crisp, smooth shifts when we're going head-to-head in the driving line driver battle.
All right, so now that we got the engine oil and transmission fluid done, we're gonna go ahead and install these seat rails by PCI. We're gonna go ahead and test fit it, make sure everything fits in there like it should, and then we'll get the seat in there.
All we have to do is just zip off this nut that's welded onto the reinforced part of the chassis here, and then we can put the correct size nut on the back end, and then we've got a nice reinforced spot for one of our eye bolts. Our harnesses are right here. These are some RaceQuip 5, I think they're 5 or maybe 6-point harnesses with a cam lock as the center. These are the same harnesses that I have been running on the Evo for the past couple of years. I enjoy them very much. They've worked very well. One thing that we can do is take one of these little eye bolts that anchors a lap belt, and we can run it right through where we just cut off that nut. Not only will be holding the seat bracket, but as it's an eye bolt, it will also be holding a lap belt. I love that. The PCI seat bracket is a nice piece and not sponsored. It features a spot which I will say is made with unnecessarily tight tolerances for the submarine belt that goes up past your privates to be mounted directly on the bracket. This means that you don't have to drill through the floor. Huge win. I'm installing the Bride Zieg 3 wide seat I ran in my Evo for the last couple of years, because if you saw the recent video about my garage flood, you'll know my Evo does not need seats in it right now. This feels very good. Yes. Next was a visit to Advanced Auto Parts for a few more normal car parts, like windshield wipers and headlights. And you can use our discount code Gears and Gasoline to get 15% off your orders at Advance. Right now, this car is not ready to race in the rain, and as a matter of fact, these are the same windshield wipers that I used when I was racing with Ben at VIR in the pouring rain and snow. When I bought the car, the previous owner just had RGB, like LED shiny glimmer things inside the headlights. He didn't actually have any headlight bulbs. Wow.
tires are here. Look at these things with these chunky tread blocks. It's crazy.
These are the tires. They are, of course, Nitto tires. They're NTO1s, 100 tread wear, competition use. I'm excited to get them put onto the car. Mark actually is mounting them as we speak because we're trying to get things rolling, trying to go fast. And what are they gonna be mounted on? Well, they're gonna be mounted on some MSTs. Now, I know what you're saying. These are not Advans. These are very far from Advans, but they are the spec that I need, and they're the spec that I need in time. I got these from Fitment Industries. They sent them out insanely fast. If you want Advans, you're gonna be waiting about 8 months. I got these within about 4 days of ordering them. And these are a 17x9 plus 20. And with the wide body kit, we really want as negative an offset as we can get. And that is because we need the wheels to actually sit flush with the fender. So we're gonna be running a 235 on the front and then a 255 on the rear. We're running 9-inch square wheels. Ideally, when we actually get the wheels that we're gonna be running for the whole season, which are not gonna be these, you're gonna wanna run a 10 in the rear probably, and then a 9 in the front with these same tire specs. We want as much useful stretch on the sidewall as possible. Mark just mounted a 255 on 9, so that's what we've got right here. And as you can see, there's a little bit of a mushroom. It's not bad, but the more stretch that we can get on the sidewall of this tire, within reason, the better it's gonna perform. The suspension ride height is still set up for the car to be loaded onto a U-Haul trailer, aka monster truck status, so we've got a pretty handsome wheel gap. With no real time to set up the suspension properly, we just adjust the suspension back down to a uniform height and call it good. The real kicker though is our clearance to the body kit. The wheels are 17 inches in diameter, 2 inches larger than the OEM for this car, and the body kit runs extremely close to the tires. In order to make sure we don't contact the body kit or frame on track, we're gonna have to do some modifying.
So we need to address this issue, maybe cut this back and relocate the bolt in a different location. Then we'll have to adjust these pinch welds, push them back, and then we can see how much more clearance that we can get in the wheel well. What do you think? 3.4.
It's about as close as it's gonna get to being ready for a shakedown that's on Monday.
I think we're ready for a good shakedown.
Yeah, clearly the car is not 100% where we would want it to be.
There's definitely much more development that we can do to it.
Just a smidge, yeah.
And more parts are even ordered. So
Yeah, parts are on the way. The car currently obviously has no livery, paint, anything like that. The fitment is what we would refer to in the industry as
garbage. Garbage is the word.
that's a better term.
Obviously, we need to put a spacer in the rear, but I think for the shakedown, it'll be fine because I also don't want to get back under there and do an alignment.
Another alignment.
Yeah, because things are going to change.
We just did a turning radius test, and amazingly, the car can actually turn lock to lock, and I'm not hearing the tire just like rubbing off of the inside of the chassis or body kit. So I think that the car should be pretty quick as it is. And then last thing to do, Mark, we got to take a couple more stickers off.
All right, yeah, that's right.
Let's see, ride height. We got that about as low as I'm comfortable with running it for right now. So that's more massaging. And then alignment, that was all you.
That was definitely all me.
The last one is wheel fitment.
So the last thing to do is just figure out who it is on Monday that I'm going to be racing at the driving line driver battle. What the f